Hello, dear Prep 3 students, with the second part of Unit 7, the grammar part. Our today grammar is obligation and necessity. Obligation and necessity, it means things that are very important or necessary to happen. How to say that something is very, very important, you need to do something. Let's see. We use subject, subject, the subject, the person who is acting or doing the action. Today we will study have and has to and must, okay? So use the subject plus have to or has to. We know that have to with the plural, plural pronouns or plural subject like we, you, and they. So, and we use has to with he, she, and it, the singular. Let's start over. Use the subject plus have or has to or must plus the infinitive plus the infinitive. The first form of the verb, the infinitive, is the main or basic form of the verb, like go, study, not studied, not went, not gone. Okay, so we use subject, have to, has to, or must plus infinitive for obligation and necessity, to say or to talk about rules or things that are necessary, very important. Necessary, it means very important. For example, we have to go to school on time. So we have here the word we, plural, so it takes have, not has. We have to. After have to comes the yes, infinitive, go. Not goes, not went, go. This is the infinitive. To school on time. So we have to go to school on time. It's very important that we go to school on time. If we go late, so maybe we are not going to be accepted to enter the school. Example number 2, you see here, she has to get a passport to travel to London. She cannot travel to London unless she gets a passport. You must see a doctor. You have been ill for a week. So it's very important to see a doctor. You have been ill for a week. It's a very long time, a week. So we note that have to or has to or must give the same meaning. It means, or they mean, that it's very important to do something. We use the subject plus will have to plus the infinitive. Will have to here. Will, after will comes have to, whether it's singular or plural pronoun. For example, we will have to, or if he will have to also. So use subject plus will have to plus infinitive for obligation or necessity in the future, to say that something will be important in the future. Let's see examples. We will have to grow more food in the future. So it will be very important for us to grow more food in the future, because if we don't do that, we will starve. We will need more food because our, for example, population is increasing. So we will have to grow, you see the infinitive here. So we will have to grow more food in the future. He will, you see, not will has, no. It's he will have to study hard next year. So he will have to study hard next year. It's very important to study hard next year. Use the subject, he or she or it or we or you or they or I, or noun, for example, Ahmed, Mona, Ahmed and Mona. These are all subjects. So use the subject plus had to plus infinitive as well, infinitive here, for obligation or necessity in the past. In the past we use, if we want to say that something was very important in the past, we use had to, had to. Of course, with all the subject pronouns, whether I or he or she or it or we or you or they. So, we had to study, for example. You see, in those days, in the past, players had to hit the ball with their hands. They had to hit the ball with their hands. It was very important for them to hit the ball with their hands if they want to win, for example. Yes, here how to say he don't or doesn't have to. Use don't have to or doesn't have to or need not or needn't. Instead of mustn't, we use needn't, because mustn't has another usage. Mustn't is very different here. When we say mustn't, everything will change. We will study that later. But now let's know that we use don't have to, doesn't have to, or needn't to say that something is not necessary or important. Something is not important or not necessary. You needn't come with me if you are busy. It's not very important for you to come with me if you are busy. She doesn't have to hurry. She isn't late for school. So she doesn't have to hurry, or she needn't hurry. Okay, she needn't hurry. So we use don't have to, doesn't have to, or needn't to say that something is not necessary or not important. Okay, you needn't come with me if you are busy. You or she doesn't have to hurry. She isn't late for school. We use didn't have to for the past. We didn't have to do computer studies when we were at primary school. It wasn't very important for us. Here we use did plus subject for questions. Did you have to study English when you were in grade 4, for example, to ask about something in the past? Okay, let's see the examples. We use did plus subject plus have to plus infinitive for questions in the past. Questions in the past. Okay, did you have to cook meals when you were young? We use WH question word like what, where, when, plus did, plus subject, plus have to, plus the infinitive for questions in the past. Okay, for questions in the past. For example, what did they have to eat? What, here the question word, did, plus subject they, plus have to, plus infinitive, eat. What did they have to eat? Here we will study the use of must, not mustn't. Okay, because mustn't is very important and different from the other, from have to or has to or needed. You see, we use mustn't or must not to say that it's prohibited or banned or forbidden, okay, or prevented, not allowed, necessary, not, for things that are prohibited or prevented by law. You know, like the policemen will arrest you if you do something. Let's see. You mustn't park here. It's against the law. You see, you must not park here. It's not allowed to park here. Okay. Sometimes we use it's not allowed. It's instead of must not. You mustn't park here. It's against the law. You mustn't take photos here. You mustn't take photos here. You are banned to take photos here. Now, with the time of the exercise, rewrite the following sentences. It is necessary for you to get up early. I want you to use must. It is, yeah, so the sentence here is in the present. It is necessary for you. It's necessary for you. It's important for you to get up early. We need to use must. Yes, you must get up early. Great. You must get up early. Sentence number 2, you are not allowed, you see, not allowed to talk during the exam. Must here, we use must not. Yes, mustn't. To say that something is not allowed. Let's see? Great. You mustn't talk during the exam. It's not allowed at all. It was necessary for her to take the medicine. You see here it was necessary for her to take the medicine. We need to use had. You remember had to. Yes, great, thank you. So she had to take the medicine. She, and as the sentence was in the past, so we use had to plus the infinitive. She had to take the medicine. It's necessary to go out. Or it isn't. It's not. It isn't necessary to go out. Not important to go out. Yeah. Needn't. You needn't go out. You needn't go out. Thanks for listening, and see you with Unit 8.